What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Deontay Wilder states that the Anthony Joshua fight can still happen. He says, why not? He says, people look at losses and think that it's be all and end all, but it's not, notes Wilder. Perhaps foreshadowing how he believes the sequel will play out. You know, Joshua's exercised his rematch clause. He says, it's how you become a 2-time, 3-time, 4-time champion in our history of boxing. Many of our greats have lost, if not all. It's boxing. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. That's how it is. A loss shouldn't define who you are. Sometimes you're going to get knocked down. Sometimes that's the hardest thing in the world, to get back up. Some people, after they get knocked down, they want to strategically move themselves. That's the easy part. The hard part is getting knocked down so you can get back. So, he says, of course we can still fight, but first he has to pick himself back up, notes Wilder, who has in the meantime already announced the rematch with Luis Ortiz and Fury. We got to see if he picks himself back up, dusts himself up. Does he pick himself up or does he stay down? Right now he's down. His mentality is weak right now. It's going to be interesting to see how he takes the time and rebuilds himself and gets himself back into the mix. When he do that, I'll be there. So, that's positive news for the people that really want to see the fight, regardless of what the fight now consists of. You know, I mean, let's look at it this way. Pacquiao and Mayweather, they didn't fight for a belt. They fought for who was the better person. So, the thing is, Joshua is a lot more famous than Deontay Wilder, but now Deontay Wilder popularity is soaring. It's increasing, people. So, since Joshua has to play catch up now, and Deontay Wilder has to pick himself back up, and Deontay Wilder's playing catch up, you know, when those guys fight, let's say he beats Luis Ortiz and he knocks out Fury, and then Joshua handles his business with Ruiz, and then, you know, why not fight next year? You know, the belts will be back. You know, sure, they'll have a loss. I think it'll be interesting to still see these guys fight because, you know, it would be for different reasons, right? If they do well, they see the flaws that Joshua has, obviously. Deontay Wilder, he has his own flaws. So, you know, we'll see if that fight takes place again. But Deontay Wilder, me personally, I feel that he would be more keen on fighting Joshua now because he knows that Joshua has a limit, or so he sees. He sees, hey, this guy can be beaten. And a lot of times if you see someone else do something, it's easier for you to do it. You know what I mean? If you look at something and say, you know what, fuck that, I ain't doing that. But then you go see someone else do it, and you're like, you know what, I can't do that. You know, it reminds me years ago, I was a teenager, and I worked in this fancy steakhouse. And of course, these steakhouse, they have these big surfboard-like trays, these huge server trays. And you had to, you know, balance the shit and carry it, and you had to put bottles and plates and spoons and forks and utensils and all that shit. And then, you know, you had to hold it a certain way, and you had to keep it sturdy. You know, you have a tray jack in his hand, you got a damn, you know, the tray in this hand, and then when someone walks past you got to raise the damn tray up and let them walk under you. You know, like some real fancy smancy shit. But I couldn't do that to save my life because every time I'd pick it up, I would lose balance because, you know, I don't know about that stuff because I was just, like, starting to work there. And until I seen this chick, you know, she had to be 120 pounds, 5'3", do the same shit. Pick the tray up, no problem, and move on. And I'm thinking to myself, damn, if she can do it, I can do it. So that's a good example. You know, I saw that happen. I'm like, well, damn, I know if that little motherfucker can do it, I can do it. Being my tall self at the time, I mean, I was shit, probably about 170 pounds, but still, I was, I was a lot stronger than her. I knew that. So if I knew if she could do that, I could do that. But before, I doubted it before I seen her do it. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where if Deontay Wilder was reluctant to fight Anthony Joshua because he didn't know if he could beat him, let's just be real. If he doubted that he can beat him, that's why he didn't want to take the money to fight him, and and he didn't want to jeopardize what he had worked, to get in those 11 years as a pro, or 10 or 11 years, right? And then he sees someone else do it. He's like, okay, shit, let me do that now. I know I can do that. That's why he's saying, like, why not? You know what I'm saying? He didn't say anything about get the belts back. He said, no, he has to pick himself back up. So now it's not a problem for him because the pressure is off of him. You see what I'm saying? There's no pressure because people were pressuring Deontay Wilder to take that fight more than anyone else. See, my thing is, Deontay's relieved, not because he doesn't have to fight Anthony Joshua, it's because people don't have to bother him about taking a fight with Anthony Joshua. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where they were all pressuring me, and I was telling him, hey man, be patient. We got to make all the money that we possibly can. And everyone kind of questioned that because that's not what you were saying last year. You weren't saying about the money and all that shit. You were saying, hey, I want to fight. I want to fight him next. What's wrong with him? Is he scared? What's the deal? But now you're saying, hey, we want the money. It's going to come. It's going to come. And then that's another element now. Money. These guys know that they're not going to make the money like they would fighting each other. Deontay Wilder fights Tyson Fury. Look, after this rematch, the money train stops for Deontay. Let me say that again. After the Fury fight, if that fight happens, the money stops for Deontay. And you know what happens to him? Either if he wins or if he loses. If he wins, okay, nobody really wants to see a third fight between those two, right? Unless it was just like that good, But if he knocks out Fury and Fury stays down, he doesn't beat the count, whatever. Okay, what does he do then? Who is there left to fight then? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. There will be no more pay-per-view there because there will be no one else worth putting on pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? So, they might milk another fight out of that. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, the shit's going to run out for Deontay. And it's going to be a continuation of how this year went. You're going to go back to fighting guys like Brazil, your mandatories or whatever. Now, he could fight Dillian Whyte, but, I'm not convinced that he wants to fight Dillian Whyte. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's a route that he wants to take. But I think he's thinking about the money, and I think he's considering, like, dude, if Joshua doesn't come back, I have to, plant the seed of the idea of still fighting him because I still want to make that damn money. Because he knows $100 million is real. You know what I'm saying? There's no fake thing about that, right? I don't know how real it is now, but he knew it was real when it was presented to him. So, I think that's another reason he mentioned fighting Anthony Joshua. So, those are my reasons. You guys tell me what you think about Deontay saying that they could fight. I'll leave the article below in the description box. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.